The rule that stops most studio owners from running their own 200-hour training is one they've misunderstood. You don't need to be an E-RYT 500 yourself to run a 200-hour. You need an E-RYT 500 on the paperwork and genuinely involved. And that's a problem you can solve with me together this year. I'm Sage Rountree, and I help experienced yoga teachers build confident, sustainable careers, including running their own teacher trainings. I run 200-hour trainings, I direct a YTT, and I license my curriculum to partner studios. So I've walked this exact path with teachers who assumed the credential gap closed the door for good. By the end of this video, you will know what Yoga Alliance actually requires, what you can and can't do at the E-RYT 200 level, and the co-facilitation model that lets you start running a training now instead of waiting 2,000 teaching hours to begin. If you already suspect this is for you, the partner inquiry form is linked in the description. Open it in another tab and follow along. Here's what Yoga Alliance actually requires. Every RYS 200 has to designate a lead trainer who is E-RYT 500 and who teaches a significant portion of the training hours. To hold an E-RYT 500, you need 500 hours of training completed, 2,000 documented hours teaching after your 500 hour, and active RYT 500 status. The standard is substantial on purpose. The lead trainer sets the tone for how brand new teachers are formed, and Yoga Alliance wants someone with real depth holding that role. So when you read, lead trainer must be E-RYT 500 and stop cold, you're reading it correctly. The piece most studio owners miss is the word lead. The requirement is about who anchors the training on record, not about who is allowed to teach within it. Here's what you can and can't do as an E-RYT 200. If you are an E-RYT 200 with strong teaching experience, you can teach significant portions of a 200-hour. You can run your sequencing labs, lead philosophy and history discussions, teach methodology and cueing, coach practicum, and mentor your trainees through their first awkward teaching reps. You can teach the business of yoga module that most trainings barely touch and that you have lived for years. The work you're already great at is work you are allowed to do. What you can't do on your own is be the designated lead trainer of record for an RYS 200, and you can't register graduates under your own school without that 500-hour lead in place. That single line is the entire gap, and you bridge it with a partner, not with 2 more years of waiting. This is where a partnership does the work. In a co-facilitation structure, a parent RYS holds the registration and puts its E-RYT 500 lead on the Yoga Alliance paperwork. That lead teaches the modules where 500-hour depth genuinely matters and is present for the portion of hours Yoga Alliance requires. You come in as co-facilitator and teach the hours you are most equipped for. The parent school licenses you its curriculum, and your trainees register through the parent RYS when they graduate. You keep the relationship with your community. The parent school keeps the accreditation clean. Your local market sees a training that runs in your space, in your voice, with the structure and the credential already handled behind the scenes. You might ask, but won't my students feel shortchanged? This is the worry I typically hear first, and it's the one that dissolves fastest. Your trainees get you, plus a second experienced lead with a different depth of perspective. For a new teacher, having 2 seasoned voices in the room makes for a richer training, and most trainees never know it any other way. You might ask, is this a loophole or is it legit? It's legitimate and it is not uncommon. A share of registered schools run on exactly this kind of partnership. Nothing is hidden from Yoga Alliance. The parent RYS is fully accountable for the training, and the lead trainer is on the record where they belong. This is the structure the rule was built to allow, used exactly as intended. You might ask, what does it cost and how does the money work? The honest answer is that it depends on the partnership. Some arrangements run on a licensing fee, some on a revenue share, some on a blend. You typically keep your local enrollment relationship while the parent school is compensated for the curriculum, the lead trainer, and the back-end infrastructure. I would rather talk through your specific numbers than throw out a figure that doesn't fit your studio, so this is exactly the kind of thing we will map out together when you reach out. Here's what this looks like in practice. I am piloting this model right now at Carolina Yoga, the brick-and-mortar yoga studio I used to own, where I still direct the teacher trainings. I am the E-RYT 500 lead on the paperwork, and the training keeps running inside a studio I no longer own day to day. That's the proof of concept. The credential and the curriculum can travel. A studio doesn't have to lose its training just because the person running it isn't a 500-hour lead. If you eventually complete your own E-RYT 500, nothing about the structure has to change. Plenty of long-term partners stay partners because the shared curriculum and infrastructure turn out to be worth more than the line on the certificate. Others might use the partnership as a runway and eventually spin out into their own RYS. Both are good outcomes, happy outcomes, and you get to choose which one fits your studio. Here's a quick question for the comments. How many teaching hours have you logged since your 200 hour? Are you already past 2,000 or still building? I am genuinely curious how many of you are well past the experience bar and only hung up on the paperwork. And if you've got a decade of experience and a community that trusts you, but the 500-hour paperwork is the only thing between you and running a training this year, let's talk. The partnership inquiry form is in the description. Tell me about your studio, where you are, and we'll figure out whether co-facilitation is the right bridge for you. If you want to see how a training comes together once the credential question is solved, watch my video on how to start a yoga teacher training program at your studio. I'll link it next. You've already done the work of becoming a teacher your students trust. The credential gap is a solvable problem, and you don't have to wait to solve it.